What do we got here? What do we have here? So this is probably, if I wasn't specifically putting this in a video on purpose, this would never make it to a video, to one of my episodes, because it's just getting a simple gas tank swap. But it's a 1967 Oldsmobile, and it's got this funny badge here. Y'all take a guess what that means? Let me just pop the hood and show you guys what that means. This thing has been LS swapped. I have a suspicion there's a crack in the gas tank. When he accelerates forward, he loses fuel. But it was a really good job done in here. I'm gonna have to figure out some AC lines for him, but first we got to swap the gas tank. Let me show you what it sounds like. So now we're in the belly of the beast. The ignition is on the firewall. Let's see. There we go. We've got power. Check that out. Pretty neat. I'm sure that's pretty sure that's to run. It looks like a standalone system, possibly to run the engine, and it's your gauges. I'll be damned. So let's give it a fire. Oh, listen to that baby purr. It's not too bad. I think it's like 3-inch true duals. It's ridiculously stupid. So it sounds really good, nice and steady. When I'm done, I'll probably go take this thing for a small test drive and take you guys along with me so we can check it out. But definitely lopes. Sounds pretty good. I mean, cliche is the LS swap. I'm nostalgic for the old stuff. Plus, LSs never look as good as tunnel rams and carburetors, in my opinion, also. But I bet performance-wise, this thing is nasty. The kid said when he bought it that the dad sold it because it was too much car for his son. It ended up being too powerful. Let's see. I'm gonna break my microphone real quick. Now this car over here, we just bought yesterday, and basically all I'm going to do is put a real basic B paint job on it. It's already got a real fresh 305 in there with a new intake and Edelbrock carburetor. The exhaust has been done. The what do you call it? The interior's not too bad. It's got a lot of cleaning up that needs to be done. Of course, the velour is gone where everyone rests their arms up there. And once this thing gets fluffed, I'm going to have this car up for sale. I'm just going to polish out these old 70s Oldsmobile wheels and the tips. It looks like someone's been mudding. There's a little bit of trim issue here and there, but overall the car is really decent. The power locks work, the power windows work, it's got air conditioning. Let's see, it might take a little bit for it to start up though. It ain't got fuel injection. Oh, look at that. First try. That ain't bad. This carburetor was trying to give the fuel injection a run for its money. So, I honestly have to say I've driven this car, it shits and gets whenever you want it to and you lean into it hard. But it does run rich. I think the carburetor is very well, fuck it, I'm going to say it. Carburetor's too big for this motor. That's for sure. Let's see if we can pop the hood on this one. Alright, here it is. Real dirty. I mean real dirty. But it doesn't have any valve ticks. It's real smooth. I can see there's some stumbling there, but like I said, I really honestly believe that the carburetor is too big for this engine. It's only a 305, and that almost, I mean, oh, I don't want to say it, but I want to say it. That looks like a freaking 750 up there. Did I just see a drip? I hope I didn't see a drip. Yeah, there's a little bit of leaking gas, a lot of leaking gas. Well, it wasn't leaking as bad as it was the other day, or yesterday when I bought it. So this thing, not bad. It's in good shape for what it is. Just cosmetically really ugly. Let's see. Not as loud as the LS. It still sounds pretty good though. yeah, like I said, went and picked it up yesterday, drove it home. AC works, power locks work, the brakes work. It's got some decent tires on it. I didn't have any issues whatsoever bringing it home, so that was pretty cool. Basically, my job is to polish all the chrome out, and I'm going to put a satin black paint job on there and make a debate whether or not I'm going to change the top. But for the most part, we're just going to double check to make sure everything's safe to drive, detail the interior, get a paint job on it, and put this one up for sale. If you're interested, please send me a message. I have no problem whatsoever, what do you call it, negotiating prices on any of these projects that I have. So here I am, heating up the ring gear again. Got my flywheel frozen, as you can see it is completely frosted now that I've brought it outside. So I am trying to heat up and get this thing as hot as possible and have it stay hot so we can try to drop this ring gear over the flywheel. Alright, we got this thing so hot that it's blue but not red. I'm going to attempt to drop it on there now and see if it just goes right on. It's radiating enough heat that it's defrosting the flywheel. So let's grab our little rags here. See what we can do. Oh, look at that, went right on. I just rotate, let it cool down on its own accord until it grabs. See it sitting all the way down in there. We're just gonna let it cool off at its own pace. And at some point, see it's getting tighter. Oh, there we go, it's cooling down. It's already grabbing and becoming one with the flywheel. Sweet, I guess next we're gonna go put this pilot bushing in. So I have my flywheel bolts right here that I cleaned up. I got me some Loctite. I've already got my pilot bearing tapped in. I've got my torque wrench here and set for 80 pounds and my 5/8 wrench to help get things started. I'm gonna grab the flywheel and get this camera set up so that you could possibly watch me and get this flywheel back in because it's go time, baby. All right, so we're down here. Got my pilot bearings in, like I said already. And what I'm doing right now is adding some thread locker to the flywheel bolts. Screwing them in first by hand, and I'm going to torque them down to 80 pounds. Show us what you're doing. This is for the LS swapped Oldsmobile. We're putting a proper LS gas tank into it.
The holes line up in the correct position, but they're just not wide enough to match the holes in the tank.
Oh, so you're just going to waller them out a little bit with the step bit?
Yeah, just going to open them up just a little bit.
Okay. Santa just arrived and dropped off a package. We're going to see what this bad mother is. Well, it says Edelbrock, and it says camshaft and lifter, so this must be my cam for the 53 cab build going on the K20 chassis. That's nice. So the sad part is to get to the panel in order to remove it. It's underneath the insulation that I've glued down. I see this heel already wore straight through right there. I knew it was going to. We didn't put something there, but so I'm going to have to remove this insulation that I just put in there. I'm not going to necessarily remove it. I think I'm just going to take a razor knife and cut around the edges that I need to get to. Man, what a freaking nightmare. I just had to tear up all the insulation in the floor that I just refinished. And then I've got one screw that wants to stay rusted and not come out. So I had to use a screwdriver here, and I'm just going to prop this access panel up out the way in order to give me easy access to line up with the what you call it, the transmission to the engine. So I guess I'm gonna go get my pressure plate, my clutch, and alignment tool and get busy putting that on. Might even be able to get this turd in today. And we are back under the car. We have our clean flywheel, and it's all torqued in place. Get rid of these. Let's get rid of these. Okay, and our Loctite is done dried. So what we're going to do now is we've got our clutch, our pressure plate, and our alignment tool, and I'm going to try to single-handedly stick this in there and start a bolt. Yep. That's what I'm going to do. Alright, here we go, guys. The moment of truth. It's tight. Everything's tight around here, but I'm going to start trying to put this thing in, and let's see if we can get jacked up here. Alright, so I literally have it within a millimeter or an eighth of an inch. I just have to push the plate up and start threading the bolts. But it's time for me to have to go pick up Cassandra, and I'll pick this up in the morning. But I'm happy. I'll have this wrapped up tomorrow. It's hard to see because of this really gross insulator for the tank, but we have our vent hoses are hooked up, and all of our power lines, our power wires are run. And we actually got some really clean his and hers plugs on there, so that easy access. But we're going to go ahead and wrap them in some shrink wrap, I think, just to make sure that they stay that way whenever they are plugged in. And we're going to be mounting this tank here real soon. Robert's just taking care of the filler spout right now. We're going to he's going to plug the wires in. I'm going to turn the key. As soon as we hear that fuel pump go, we know we're good, and we're going to go ahead and strap this thing in and hook up the fuel lines and go get some gas. A little Jeep update. We are still waiting on a distributor from the distributors of the distributors. Right? The distributors? That's fun to say. This is what we're replacing here. Originally the car was set up with an inline fuel pump, and this looks like a factory OEM pickup tube and sending unit, as you can see here. And what the guy did to run the fuel injection to it is, because he had that line, he didn't need an in-tank fuel pump, and he welded another spout on here. Where's my finger? Right there. You see where he welded a return line through the top of this piece right here, and that's the reason why it was just rigged and not really done properly. So he did have the proper equipment ordered, but it was just in the trunk and never installed, from what I understand. And that's why we're going through with all this this mess here to get this other tank in. This tank has gas bezels, yes. Baffles, I'm sorry. Thank you, Robert. I knew you were good for something. This thing has gas baffles in it, so whenever the gas sloshes, it only sloshes around it and still kind of maintains the gas inside the baffle area, and has a let's see, a modern high pressure internal fuel gas pump, as like a modern car would. So that's all we did, was retrofit modern crap into this into the back of this old car, so that it can safely and easily operate the 5.3 truck engine and underneath the hood. So Robert's snugging in the tank now with the new straps that we discovered were longer, because the tank has to sit lower to the ground in order to clear for the fuel pump and the hose outlets being on top of the tank instead of the rear of the tank. So we just finished strapping things in and double checking and putting some fuel in. Cross your fingers. Let's see if we can get this buddy to fire up. I guess I need to see what the fuel gauge is doing too. Oh, there we go. How about this one? not getting shit. So after extensive work in the rain yesterday, and testing, and testing, and more testing, and testing again, we came to the conclusion that our brand new wire off the spool had somehow broken inside the insulator without showing any signs of damage from the outside, because we were getting power on the test light so far up the circuit, and then suddenly it would just out of nowhere stop. So we pulled the rest of the wire, we tested that off the spool, we tested it to see that it was solid and all the way through. Hooked the fuel pump just in case to make sure it was good directly to the battery, and it kicked on and it was alright. Let's see, then we ran the cable all the way back here. We still have power. We're about to test the fuel pump with it in the tank, and then once we do that, then we're going to go ahead, disconnect the wire, rerun it through the chassis to get it to where it needs to be so we can reinstall the tank. Wow. Anyways, hopefully we'll get to start this bad mother, go up to the gas station, put some gas in it, and take you guys for a ride. Alright, so this time around we got the pump to turn and spin and prime. We had to double check which direction it was pumping in for us to know whether or not that'll be alright, there should be enough gas, whether or not to which direction it was coming in. And it turned out we had to swap the hoses at the engine. So we've finishing off putting the rest of the gas in there. We've come up to the front and we have primed the system by pushing the air valve on the fuel rail right here until we had gas spit out at us. So now it's just basically the moment of truth where we're going to see if we can fire this thing up. You want to come over here and man this camera? Or no, actually, I'll just go in the... I'm nervous. I'm just going to go in the glove box. I'm just going to go in here like a nervous Nancy. Okay. So, turn it on. I can hear the fuel pump. I can hear the fuel pump priming. All right. So now let's try to see what we can do here. Got our little electric gauges firing up. Oh, nice. We'll have to check for leaks. Or is that? Do you think that's leftover air? It sputtered a little to start. It didn't just fire. So, anyway, so you finally got it fucking running. God, sorry about the cussing. Just kind of excited on that one. So now basically all we've got to do is go down the fuel line and look where we spliced in and check for fuel leaks and get the gas tank tightened up and wrap this mother up, and we'll go for a spin. All right, we're gonna go for the test right now. See how well we do. I think that's a good driving position for me. I feel like I'm a little far from the pedals, but it's on. We're running. Got our gauges right here. I'm a little nervous Nancy, I'm not even gonna lie. Alright, so here we are. We just got to Mexico.
If I do burn in this city, silly little girl, you put the scratches on my back, but you can tell you were smoking crack. Funny how lies get around when you act a fool in this here town. Sex and drugs can't save you now, and I'm not falling for your pity. I see the flames in my rearview mirror as I burn you. bridges before, but tonight I know just what I mean. Innocence, it could never save me, so I guess I'm burning in eternity. I see the flames in my rearview mirror as I'm burning down this city. I woke up, I took a look around, said I'm burning down this city, girl. I woke up, I took a look around, said I'm burning down this city. 20 minutes of nothing is 20 minutes of nothing. You just wasted your life watching 20 minutes of nothing. It's not smoking crack, but you can't get it back. You just wasted your life watching 20 minutes of nothing. Thought it was something, my 20 minutes of nothing.